years. The Department of Housing and Urban Development's 2023 data reveals an increase in homelessness among veterans. There was a 7.4% increase between 2022 and 2023. Here to discuss this matter further is Marine veteran and CEO of VetComm, Kate Monroe, who joins us live in studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So before we get to the issue at hand, you are a 100% rated disabled U.S. Marine Corps veteran. You're now the CEO of VetComm, where you're leading a team of dedicated professionals who help get vets what they're owed from the VA. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I founded VetComm after realizing what an adversarial process it is to get rated by the VA. I mean, I sort of look at the Veteran Benefits Administration as a giant insurance company that doesn't want to pay. And so I said, how can I help the 10 million veterans that are collecting nothing? How can I make this easy for them so that they don't quit on the process, so that they don't remain underrated? So what we do is make all the claims for veterans, prepare them to go and face this adversarial process. And, you know, usually in less than 90 days, whoever comes to us is going to be collecting $1,000 to $4,000 a month. So it's really exciting work that we do, but we also have a charity that helps homeless veterans get their benefits as well.
And speaking of homelessness, you stated how the homeless situation among veterans is deplorable. It's getting out of hand. The situation is only getting worse. And you've even toured California's most impacted cities and neighborhoods. Tell us more about those experiences.
You know, in May of this last year, on my birthday, I thought, it's awesome that we have this charity and we're helping, you know, homeless vets, but they're already into transitionary housing at this point that we're helping them. And I wanted to figure out, why are they homeless, right? So why did they end up there in the first place? And it turns out that, you know, they get out of the military and their skill set maybe doesn't natively port over into civilian life. Like they're a tank mechanic. Well, there's not a tank mechanic job on this side. So they run out of runway financially. Their mental health goes untreated. We let them out of the service with massive PTSD, depression, anxiety, and it goes untreated, and they start treating it themselves with drugs and alcohol, and they end up on the street. I've been to the Tenderloin, I've been to LA, I've been all over San Diego, and it's just amazing to me that we've spent billions of dollars on this issue and it's gotten bigger. Right? It's gotten bigger at the end of the day. And so it's deplorable to me because the VA's entire HUD-VASH program, which is supposed to house veterans, got reallocated this last year to migrants. So you wonder why the rise in veteran homelessness. Well, the federal government is prioritizing migrants over everyone, now over school children, as we're seeing, over veterans. It's deplorable, it's disgusting. And it's not just me that feels that way as a veteran.
And you make some great points. And to your point, because as you mentioned, New York City, they've literally cleared out a high school in order to house these illegal immigrants, and a lot of people are wondering, well, what about our veterans? What about the people who have sacrificed this country? What about them? You're advocating, though, for a base camp model to mitigate many of the factors contributing to the homelessness crisis. What exactly does that look like? Tell us more about that.
Well, anybody watching this that has served knows what a forward operating base is. It essentially is a massive infrastructured camping unit. So there would be a hooch, like big giant tents that would have bunks in it. There would be a shower system, cafeteria, commissary, chapel, rehab. We could get all of the homeless into one place, bucketize them as to why they are homeless. If they're newly homeless, we need to get them back on their feet, get them a job, get them inside, get them going. If they have mental health issues, we need to treat them, whether it be from depression or actual real mental health challenges, get them back on their medication. If they have been doing drugs for 20 years, 28 days is not going to cut it for rehab. If they got to stay at this base camp for a year to completely rehabilitate themselves, because my feeling is transition without transformation is futile, and that's what we're trying to do now with this housing first. I'm not for housing, but I really feel like a base camp would cost 10% of what we are spending now, and it would force all these charities and all these people who help the homeless, they'd have to go to one spot to be very clear who is and is not actually helping.
And as you pointed out, you say that this model would be a fraction of the cost that cities regularly spend to place homeless in hotels. Have you met with city leaders and officials about this proposal? have you heard, if so?
Well, it's actually kind of funny. When I first went out in San Diego, I actually went viral on Fox News National for illuminating our homeless issue here. And all the city officials came out and talked to me, oh, we're going to get this cleaned up, we're going to do this and that. And so when they started to hear me talk about this base camp idea, they came up with this safe camping ban here in San Diego. And they basically took our operational yard, put a fence around it, put 6 or 7 tents in it with no shower system, no nothing. And they were like, look, we built it. Look how good we did. They might have helped 15, 20 people of the 2,000 people that are sleeping on the street downtown. I don't think that the city officials in San Diego or any other place across the country actually have the wherewithal to do a big solution like this base camp. It's going to take a state of emergency, a declaration of disaster to get this done. The National Guard's going to need to build this. We're in a state of emergency here in our country. We're well past 5 tents in a parking lot.
Absolutely. And many have highlighted problems within the Department of Veterans Affairs, and you just have as well a few moments ago. You, such as being tasked with disseminating veteran benefits and limiting federal budgetary expenditures, which many consider a conflict of interest. What needs to be fixed exactly within the VA in order to mitigate this problem?
Well, I think people feel like the VA, the Veteran Health Administration, the Veteran Benefit Administration are not just part of the federal government. They're just another arm of our federal government. And our federal government wants to spend money on endless wars, on gender studies in Pakistan. They want to spend our money on absolutely nothing. They do not want to spend it on veterans, on kids. They certainly don't want to spend it on border security, on fixing our homeless crisis. So I think the real conflict of interest is going to serve your country right now, because our country is not interested in serving you when you get out. That's the big change that needs to be made. And I think from top down, if you look at the previous administration, they cared quite a lot more about veterans. Like Trump or not, veterans and their families were more secure, had better benefits, less of us were dying by suicide, less of us were homeless, and now look what's happening. You have veterans getting kicked out of housing, you have migrants being seen before veterans in the VA hospital. Like, the VA does not care about veterans in the way that they should, or at all at this particular moment.
And to your point, inflation has gone up under the Biden administration, the cost of living. And of course, this administration is only concerned about, as you pointed out, the DEI initiatives and helping illegal aliens. But again, what about the Americans who have put their lives on the line? It's quite a contrast to the Trump administration. So talking about VetComm, tell our viewers more about what you're achieving with VetComm.
Well, with VetComm, we have already done $550 million in lifetime income for veterans and their families. Here in San Diego, $4.5 billion goes uncollected by veterans. I don't know what they're doing with that $4.5 billion that they get to keep from the veterans in our county. But I would tell you right now, if you're a veteran watching this and you are not collecting part of that $4.5 billion here in San Diego and the trillions of dollars across the nation, we can help you get paid very quickly. Our average time to getting you compensated is 90 days. So 90 days from now, you could be $1,000 to $4,000 a month richer. We had this little guy, Floyd, who saw me on the news. They were putting groceries back. They were buying the cheap cheese, the cheap meat, the cheap bread, and they just put a roof on their house. And I only met him 6 months ago. So we can completely revolutionize your life, get you signed up for health care, get your kids free college. I mean, VetComm's job is to serve the veteran first and do whatever it takes to make your process simple, and we guarantee that we will. So if you participate with VetComm, you have a risk-free proposition to get paid tax-free for life. Most people are owed anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million in lifetime income, and that can really, fight inflation for you. Talk about an inflation fighter. I'd say that's at top of the list.
Absolutely, and quite a drastic change of that story that you just told. And where can our viewers go to learn more about you and your work with VetComm?
If they go to vetcomm.us, vetcomm.us, they can find more. But we offer every veteran in the whole of the United States 15 minutes with us, whether you decide to move forward with us, so we can explain to you what are you owed. After we talk to you and have a good conversation, we're going to give you a plan. We're going to tell you how much money you're owed and how we can serve you best.
Again, Kate Monroe, Marine Corps veteran and the CEO of VetComm, thank you so much again for your time. And of course, thank you for your service.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.